Welcome to Fika's Focus. Voices leading change.
Kia ora everyone, welcome back to Fill the Gap. I'm here to talk about the Heckman Equation today. The Heckman Equation is a study that was ran by James J. Heckman. James Heckman is a Nobel laureate, and he is in economics, and he received the Henry Schultz Distinguished Service Professor of Economics at the University of Chicago. His thesis, or his discussion really, and his research really revolves around investing in early childhood development as a absolute ability to reduce deficits and strengthen the economy. I'm going to read parts of it, but there's some very important information into investing in early childhood. So the first part here he speaks about is the highest rate of return in early childhood development comes from investing as early as possible, from birth through age 5. Especially in disadvantaged families. Starting at age 3 or 4 is too little too late, as it fails to recognise that skills beget skills in a complementary and dynamic way. Efforts should focus on the first years for the greatest efficiency and effectiveness. The best investment is in quality early childhood development from birth to 5 for disadvantaged children and their families. And that was in December 7th, 2012. What I'm going to choose to talk about today in this first part is the actual economic return that he found. Now, this is a study based in America, but I think in terms of a Western developed country, there are similarities and comparisons. What he did say in the first part, in terms of investing in early childhood education as a cost-effective strategy for promoting economic growth, he talks to the fact that through an analysis of preschool programs shows that 7 to 10% per year return on investment based on increased school and career achievement, as well as reduced costs in remedial education, health and criminal justice system expenditures. So that's saying conservatively that for every dollar that you are experiencing, that you're investing, it could be a 7% return on that. So that could be $7 a return. He also talks about the fact that the most recent research analysed is that in the programs, birth to 5 early childhood programs for children, disadvantaged children, yielded a 13% return on investment per child per annum through better education, economic, health and social outcomes. Why is that important to us? As a sector, I think the immense amount of work that goes through with our teaching teams, and not just Future Focus, but in the ECE sector is huge. The study that our teams have to go through is a full degree in terms of our qualified teachers, is a full 3-year degree, similar to what I had to do in my own primary school space. What Heckman's talking about is that through early childhood education, we are able to build opportunities through skills that complement the child to allow them to succeed later on in other schooling and career opportunities. He argues that the critical time to shape productivity is from birth age and to 5, when the brain develops rapidly. It's to build the foundation of cognitive and character skills necessary for success in school, health, career, and life. He says that early childhood education fosters cognitive skills along with attentiveness, motivation, self-control, and sociability, the character skills that turn knowledge into know-how and people into productive citizens. A lot of this research is also been supported by other people out in our communities, including Nathan Wallace and his work. But what Heckman clearly explains is that if we as a society start to invest in as young as possible into this space, we will have greater outcomes. So what does that look like in practice? I've been privileged enough to see the amazing teams that go through and work with our Pepe, our youngest teams. If you want to go back and look at Rosie's conversations around Pepe's, which I'm sure we can put in the notes in this podcast, what it allows us to do is to actually build in love, care, affection and warmth into their lives to allow them to feel stimulated in a very positive way. What that means is the moments that we take to work with these, our most vulnerable, our little Pepe, is it gives us an opportunity as educators to develop their language, to encourage and support, to share and show them ways of how to problem solve, and then also let them problem solve by themselves. People don't realise, but even at that young age, and we've had babies as young as 3 months come in with us, just like I'm sure many other centres, what it allows us to do is provide an environment for them to learn and grow and actually just figure out what their brains are going through, and us just be a pillar of support for them. If you look back at the Heckman Equation, at Heckman's kōrero on this stuff, a lot of the skills that we see that are pillars of success in children that are 4 to 5 that have been with us for a long time or have been in care since they've been babies, they are more prevalent, in my experience, they are more prevalent in that 4 to 5 year old space, and it allows, or it sets them up for greater levels of success when going into school. A lot of work that we have done when going around the schools, and we're very lucky to have great relationships with the schools locally, as I'm sure other centres do, they have great relationships with the schools. A lot of the work that we hear, or a lot of the wording we hear, is around helping the child to be socially and emotionally competent. That means allowing children to be able to problem solve. Can they problem solve? Can they make friends? Can they remove themselves from situations? Can they look after themselves? Can they go and find their own bag and put their stuff away? Can they put their shoes on by themselves unassisted? Do they walk in and out of school with their bag on their back knowing that that is their responsibility? Are they able to go and tell a teacher that they need help, or ask for help from a peer or another student, or go and help other students when they recognise that they need help? A lot of those skills, and we might refer to them as soft skills, are developed early on in those stages. And the beauty of ECE is that we get to step into that role and really help whānau be in partnership when developing those skills. So I really agree with a lot of what James Heckman talks about, and there is a lot more research out there, but it really is allowing me to add some sort of academic evidence to the great things that our sector is doing for children and their communities. Thank you. That is Fill the Gap.